The word concussion elicits more fear today than ever before. Concussion is the mildest form of traumatic brain injury. Now, most of you here tonight will be familiar with concussion because of its prevalence in mainstream sports such as rugby and boxing. But just to clarify, concussion is caused by rapid shaking of the brain within the skull, causing bruising of brain tissue. Now, while the negative effects of concussion are typically completely reversible within a matter of weeks, repeated undetected concussions can lead to long-term, irreversible brain damage. The problem with concussion is there is no scientifically accurate means of diagnosing it. This is why sports medical personnel rely on symptom-based head injury assessments, or HIAs, to determine if an individual is concussed. Recently, a study by researchers at Harvard University found that up to 80% of concussions in American football went undiagnosed. You see, symptoms of concussion vary dramatically from one individual to the next. While one person may experience immediate migraines and dizziness, another may have no symptoms at all until days later when they experience a delay onset of these concussion symptoms. So, obviously, a symptom-based assessment is not going to be completely reliable. And this is especially the case when it's a really important game and the player really does not want to leave the pitch. So, clearly, a scientifically accurate means of diagnosing concussion is needed to mitigate this ongoing concussion crisis taking place in our mainstream sports. When the brain undergoes a mechanical trauma, there is a knock-on effect of the acceleration and shearing forces acting on the tissue at the cellular level. Some cells become so damaged that they spill out their protein contents and die. Now, some of these proteins, we don't quite know how, make their way from the brain into the systemic bloodstream. Now, the implication of this is that these proteins may potentially be detected using a finger prick device, much like those used by diabetic patients. But because the associated cellular mechanisms are poorly understood, researchers cannot attribute the presence of these brain proteins in the blood directly to concussion. So, understanding these cellular mechanisms will be essential in the battle to diagnose concussion. To conclude, before we develop a scientifically accurate means of diagnosing concussion, we must first develop our understanding of concussion at the cellular level.